I guess I grew up on an older road. A pedal to the metal, always did what I told. Till I found out that my brand new clothes I came secondhand from the rich kids next door. When I grew up fast, I guess I grew up mean. There's 1,000 things inside my head I wish I ain't seen. And now I just wander through a real bad dream, or feeling like I'm coming apart at the seams. But thank you, Jack Daniels, oh, number 7. Tennessee whiskey got me drinking in heaven. And
this is Larry Connors USA. Larry Connors USA.
Name one abortion restriction that you might support.
Senator, let me try to respond this way. I have tried to make sure on this important issue for so many people, where oftentimes, again, we have different views, but deeply held views, that I have tried to make sure that I am abiding by the law. Because whether it's a particular restriction or whether it's the whole idea of abortion, whether we agree or not, we have to come to some conclusion.
Well, did you hear an answer to the question? Did you hear an answer? Let me help you out. No, you did not. That was Senator Steve Daines, Republican, Montana, asking the nominee for the Attorney General, Biden's nominee, Xavier Bacerra, name one restriction for abortions that you would support. Just give me one. Give me one. Well, Senator, let me explain it this way. I believe the truck comes down the road a little too fast and the bus goes the other way, and normally we should have lollipops on Sundays. What? Yeah, that's pretty much it. There was no sense made out of that answer. We're going to go back to it in a moment. But again, here we have the Biden nominee who will not answer a specific question, a very direct, distinct, specific question, reference abortion. We already know he's got radical pro-abortion views. We know that. He's been serving as a California Attorney General, and he's gone after anyone that would interfere with Planned Parenthood. You recall the undercover video that came out by Project Veritas and similar type groups, one of them involving some of the video that they were talking about selling body parts from those who had been aborted and what they could do with them. And maybe one of the people even joking, well, I'd like to get enough money to buy a Lamborghini or something of that nature. They thought it was just funny. Planned Parenthood sued because of those undercover videos, saying that we were basically duped. The person taking the videos is posed as to be one of our employees when they were actually an undercover reporter. Well, my gosh. How do you think they would have gotten it otherwise? If they came to the door and said, here are my press credentials. I'm here to do an undercover investigative story on how you are aborting babies and selling the body parts in violation of federal law. Oh, sure, come on in. We'll tell you everything you want to know. You know that wouldn't have happened that way. But did you see the Attorney General of California, Bacerra, going after Planned Parenthood when all that broke? No. What he did, along with former California Attorney General Kamala Harris, when she came in, or she was already there first, they went after the guy that took the undercover video. They claimed that he was in bad faith twisting and perverting the California's anti-eavesdropping law and unprecedented persecution. All of this is, of course, so they can try to claim that he was acting wrong. He exposed what they were doing, and because it's Planned Parenthood, which the left loves to endorse and support, the best way to fight the evidence is go after the guy that came up with the evidence. No, let's don't discuss the actual details of the evidence. Let's discuss the guy that did it. So here you have now Bacerra, 63-year-old son of a Mexican immigrant, who is still locked into Planned Parenthood protection. And he's nominated to be our next Attorney General, the one who will oversee referencing Obama health care exchanges and abortion laws as applied to them, abortion laws across the nation, what will or will not be challenged by the feds, that will be in his hands. So the question again from Senator Daines was, just give me one abortion restriction that you would be against. So let's pick up another part of the interview, kind of where we left it off, to see if we can possibly get Bacerra to quit doing the Bacerra dance and give a simple, clean, understandable answer to a very simple question.
Whether we agree or not, we have to come to some conclusion, and that's where the law gives us.
But is there, just to be clear, is there any line you would draw? Is there just one restriction as relates to abortion that you might support?
Senator, you're talking to the spouse of a OBGYN who for decades has practiced saving lives of women and babies. And I can tell you that from the stories I've heard from Carolina, my wife, I know how hard many women struggle just to save the life of their baby. And so what I would say to you, and I know that right now as I speak, my mother has blessed me this morning as I got ready to come here. And last night, I know when she prayed the rosary, as she does every day, every evening with my aunt, that she said a prayer and included me in that prayer.
Well, there's, part of it's the battle for those who don't have a voice, which are the little babies. And you didn't answer the question about even one restriction.
And the Bacerra dance continued. I've seen a lot of politicians dodge questions directly. But I have to admit, this is the first time I've seen one invoke his mother as part of his defense, in the sense that she prayed the rosary for me, and she prayed for me last night, and she and my aunt prayed for me again today. I'm glad they do. I'm glad that I have people in my life and throughout my life that have prayed for me and still do, and I pray for them and others as well. Did he think by invoking his mother, saying the rosary, that would make him, saintly? That would make him not have to answer such a question? I couldn't even begin to tell you what he must have been thinking, but I will tell you this. I know obviously his mother appears to be a very staunch Catholic, as he is, supposedly, as is Joe Biden. I do know that staunch Catholics are not in favor of abortion, except in very rare cases. And there are restrictions that some would say, yeah, I can uphold that one, but not the others. Like maybe to save the mom's life, that I would be in favor of no restriction on that yes, the abortion could be carried out. But he simply asked, Senator Daines simply asked, can you give me one abortion restriction that you could accept? The dance continued. We'll come back to it in a moment. Let's reset the stage a little bit. Again, at the federal level, the Hyde Amendment and a federal abortion ban both limit abortion access nationwide. They limit abortion access nationwide. Federal level attacks on abortion access also include attempted 20-week bans. The Planned Parenthood is making it very clear that these things are damaging and detrimental to what we try to do. We're all about the women's health. Make that women's health, of course, you can emphasize that, but they're not about the baby's health, the unborn baby. That's not even a factor. And did you note also Bacerra pointed out that, well, as a spouse of an OBGYN, I know and I've heard the stories about many women fighting to save their babies while having a difficult pregnancy or something. Well, those are certainly understandable. And I'm sure that his wife, serving as an OBGYN, has saved many of those women and their babies. That still does not answer the question, would he support any particular restriction on abortion? We've got a federal restriction on abortion, according to the Planned Parenthood group, that says affects more patients than the patients who need second trimester abortions and the doctors who care for them. because they want to say that federal and state 20-week bans basically have forced, and this is the wording from the Planned Parenthood, have forced women who want to have into pregnancy to have serious problems when they try to do so if they can't get a reasonable medical reason for having one. And they point out that politics has no place preventing doctors and other health professionals from informing patients about all their health care options. And doctors should not be criminalized by providing constitutionally protected care. Now, we have numerous states and various laws in the various states. And in some cases, they do, in fact, try to restrict insurance coverage of abortion. And they also have abortion bans involving specific weeks of pregnancy, mandatory ultrasounds, of course, the fetal heartbeat bill, which is one of the ways to make sure that if there's a heartbeat, then that's got to be considered a baby. You can't just abort it if you hear a heartbeat. And then you have the 2002 Born Alive law. Democrat Tim Kaine had argued that the bill was unnecessary. What it does basically is saying if the child is born alive, then you need to do everything possible to take care of the baby. Otherwise, it's infanticide. But again, for the left, whatever the mother wants. Whatever the mother wants. So again, let's try one more time. Senator Daines, Republican of Montana, questioning Xavier Bacerra, nominee for Attorney General, on do you have any one restriction, abortion restriction, you would accept? Here we go again.
You didn't answer the question about any, even one restriction on abortion. I didn't get an answer from you. Let me just throw one out there. How about a ban on the lethal discrimination of babies who are diagnosed with Down syndrome?
And so, Senator, once again, if I can simply say to you that I respect the different views that are out there, but what's important is that it makes sure that my view is according to the law.
If you confirm, you're going to be the head of the HHS. It's a huge organization, has profound impact on our society. How about a ban on sex-selective abortion? Whether the little baby is a male or a female, would you say you can't have a sex-selective abortion?
And I respect those who take a particular view. My job will be to make sure that I am following the law.
There's a ban on partial birth abortion. I know that question came up yesterday. Is that yes or no? Would you support a ban on partial birth abortion?
Again, Senator, you're asking questions which will touch on aspects that I know have different views. And what I can say is that I will make sure that I'm respecting the law on those issues.
Respecting the law, well, if the law gets passed by a state legislature, that's their law in their state, but as Attorney General, he might push the Justice Department to challenge it and charge into it, so he's not respecting. And when he said, well, some of these things, like when the question was raised about what about an abortion based upon gender, that the parents didn't want a boy, they want a little girl, or the other way around, and to abort for that reason. That was basically the essence of that question. And Bacerra again said, well, I understand their views on different sides, and I try to understand the view. How about the view of the baby? How about the view of the baby being born? We already have enough crazies in this current world that if the baby is born with a penis, they want to start trying to convince the child that it shouldn't have one and maybe it should come off. Or reverse the other way. Not one time did Bacerra do anything but dance. And I didn't like the music to start with, much less the dance. All right, let me turn to something a little lighter for you. UFOs and an FBI investigation. Or is there one? Stand by.